Welcome to my channel, Comic Book Noise, where we talk about my comic book company, Digital Noise, as we explain the characters and the storylines of the Digital Noise universe. Okay, well. Today we are under comic book issues, and it's sort of like a part 2 to the prior video I made that the Deadpool and Wolverine movie is woke. This is like a part 2, but it's kind of under a different subject today. And today the subject is, are the fanboys controlling Hollywood? You know, this topic may not make sense to you, but as I'll explain to you as I go along. Okay, before we get into that subject, first, like, subscribe, and share this channel, and so the spread news can spread through the YouTube universe, all right? But before we start on the subject, let's start on the meaning of the word woke. The reason why I want to start on the definition of the meaning and also the history of the word woke is because many people replied to me as if they really didn't know the meaning of the word. So I just wanted to really clarify the meaning so everybody understand what the word means and what it entails. Okay? Woke is an adjective derived from African American vernacular English, originally meaning alertness to racial prejudice and discrimination. Beginning in the 2010s, it came to be used as slang for a broader awareness of social inequalities such as racial injustice, sexism, and denial of LGBTQ rights. Woke has also been used as shorthand for some ideas of the American left involving identity politics and social justice, such as white privilege and reparations for slavery in the United States. So this is the meaning of the word woke. And so let's start there. So anything opposite of that, you are against racial equalities, you're against, you're homophobic, you're misogynist, and, you know, any isms basically that you don't want equal representation of anything that's in our society, basically. So that is the word woke. And like I said, the Deadpool and the Wolverine movie is a woke film because it has everything that represents wokeness within the film. As I stated before, if you have a leading character that's within the LGBTQ community, that's the lead character of the film, it's a woke film, basically, because it's not out of the American standard norm of having a straight white male character leading a film, first of all. So Deadpool is evidently in the LGBTQ community. He's, I may have the reason wrong, he's bisexual or polysexual or polyamorous. So I forget what it is right now. The terms in the title of what the character is. He can sleep with basically any consenting adult of any gender, or like I said before, it could be gay. It could be men. It could be men, women, or transsexual. That's how I see it, because he proves that within the comic book title and as well as in the film of any of the Deadpool films that's came out recently. So, I mean, if you look at the word, what the word means and its history, Deadpool and the Wolverine movie definitely represents that. Also, why I stated is the fanboy demographic controlling Hollywood. And the reason why I say this is because it seems that recently, I guess within the last 3 or 4 years, it's been coming on strong where all of these bloggers that are anti-woke. And so if you're anti-woke, to me, you're racist and misogynist and homophobic, basically. So if you're anti-woke, that's it right there. Because, well, even before then, with the fanboy thing that I've noticed it from day one when the first Black Panther movie came out. The first Black Panther movie came out, I think it was like 6-7 years ago. And remember Ben Shapiro did a review on it even before the movie came out. He did like some kind of review or commentary on the film Black Panther. And he went on a rave about this doesn't change anything about the Black community and how bad it is and all this other stuff. And he was upset that the Black diaspora, the Black community worldwide were excited about the film Black Panther. And I guess he considered it woke back then to have a movie Black Panther, but Black Panther is an established character that Stan Lee created, I think, in the 1930s. And so the MCU was just producing a film of that. And if you don't know the history of Black Panther is an African prince that has his own kingdom in Africa where it's all African. They're Black Africans, but they're secluded in their own bubble, but they have the highest technology, even surpassing anyone around the world in the MCU. So, and Black Panther is a Black character, a Black African character. So when you went on a rant and rave about it, it was very weird because it was like, okay, people get excited for Harry Potter. There's this Harry Potter craze that everybody came out with since way before this movie came out. He didn't do a rant about that. He didn't do a rant about so many other any Star Wars film he didn't do too many rants about that. People getting excited about any Star Wars movie before the female lead came into play in the latest saga of Star Wars. So it's just a weird thing. So it was like, does he have an issue with Black people being excited about a film that represents them? So this is what alarmed me from the beginning of the racism or the isms in, I guess, sci-fi and fantasy hero genres. So, especially on that scale, from a Hollywood scale, it's like, why is this guy that has millions of followers ranting and raving about Black people being happy about a film that's coming out that's an already established character that's African and Black? So that's suspect right there. So he definitely seems to have an issue, and many others from his thinking have an issue of seeing different representation. And that comes back to me for when Blade came out. I'm old, I'm just telling my age now. I was old enough to see Blade. The first Blade came out in the 1990s. So I remember when that film first came out, and that was the first Marvel film, and I was so excited about it. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to see it. And I saw it, and it was on top of the charts, and I was talking to other people, and believe it or not, there were fanboys back then, but they weren't as pronounced as they are now, because everybody has a YouTube channel, including myself, can spew out their propaganda against the film. But back then, when the film came out and was like number one on the box office charts for a couple of days, I've known some comic book fans that were actually against the film, and these were, non-black people, and it was just, I just saw Blade as a great film. I didn't see it as a black film, just happened to have black people in it. But if it was a white character with the same thing, I thought it was a kick-butt film. But they definitely had an issue with Blade coming out. A lot of people had a lot of issue with Blade coming out as a first character coming out from Marvel, and also being on top of the charts. And I forget what movie back then was elevating. They were just trying to promote that film. To me, it's always better than the Blade film, and da-da-da-da. And just so happened, without all of the social media just piling on and trying to do their propaganda, hate against the film just progressed and did amazing. So it just proves to me there is some bias when someone says woke in a negative connotation, because the word woke is actually a good word. Like, I think it's good to have inclusivity and diversity and representing different people and different life, because that's how real life is. That's how the world works. It will always be different people around, no matter what you do or what you say. They have different sexual backgrounds, different races, different cultures. Just, of course, gender is a big concern here, because there'll always be females and males as long as the human species is alive. If not, the human species dies. So we definitely need equality and diversity in our films, because that's how the world works. And what I think these fanboys are used to, because since the beginning of America, it was always been that standard white male is leading everything and knows well and knows everything and knows how to do everything. Anything that's different is hated. Opposite from that, from a lot of these fanboys. I'm not saying all of them. Some have true issues. I'm a fanboy basically, in a way, but I'm saying the majority of the fanboys that are spewing out this anti-wokeness, this is what they want to see. They want to see white males leading at all times in all films. Like I said before, Black Panther was a perfect example. Blade was a perfect example of already existing characters that a lot of them still have an issue with. They don't have an issue with Blade now because of the success of Blade that happened now. But back then, when the movie came out, I saw and experienced the backlash a little of Blade. Captain America was out, Spider-Man was out, Iron Man was the first one to come out with his own film and everything, and then Black Panther came out, and just, that was like the first solo Marvel project of a solo character making over $1 billion. It was. And it's still, like, I think in the top 10 highest grossing, especially with an individual solo character doing the film. So he was the first one as a solo character to break $1 billion, despite Ben Shapiro's spiel about, this movie's woke, he didn't like it, why are black people, or what's the other thing that other bloggers says, that the movie's overhyped, and they still talk about it till this day. I was looking it up in YouTube. There was still some bloggers still ranting, the first original Black Panther film that came out like 6-7 years ago is overrated. And it's like, aren't we past that now? Like, okay, I thought, you could do your rant back then, but you're still angry about it now. So that tells you that a lot of these fanboy bloggers are still upset about a Black Panther film that's still established. I want to get to the subject of these fanboys too, doing initial hate bombs on the film before they even see the film or even come out. They see a trailer, they hear of a movie being made that they don't like, that has some sort of diversity in it. They already bomb it and rate it and do already hate blogs on it on YouTube. And it's really concerning because it's sort of like a systematic thing happening with a lot of these bloggers, especially when it comes to Black females leading a movie or a big franchise. When it comes to a Black female, oh, the hate is on overdrive. I can't even, they hate anything Black male, but definitely when it comes to a Black female representing something, it is so like targeted. Let's go for I think the first one. Well, I've noticed when the Little Mermaid, they created a Little Mermaid, and this is in the fantasy realm, of course, it's Disney. They were looking for the Little Mermaid that would make the perfect mermaid, and they heard Halle Bailey sing, and they thought, and heard just her aura and her essence, which I saw the movie, by the way, which is amazing and beautiful as well as I saw the original animation. Superb. I say see it on Disney Plus right now. It's a beautifully made film. The hate that came so much from this film before they even seen the film. This and this and that. And what really boggles my mind is these same people try to say they're not racist. It is so mind-boggling to me. And you say it's racist and you're talking about identity politics. But you think the Little Mermaid, which is a created fictional creature, a mermaid is not real, and the mermaid isn't a real character, a real person. It's a character that was created. And it's Disney's version of it, so they can cast whoever they want to in it. And the thing about it also, too, is that The Little Mermaid was a beautifully made film, and it didn't talk about race. So you can put anyone's race within the film, who just embodied the character. That's the important part. I'm a filmmaker and a writer, so I know all about what casting and filmmaking is. And so I love this thing where they talk about identity politics, but then at the same breath, they're talking about, oh, well, she doesn't look like her. She needs red hair. She should be white. This is what should look like, and this and that. But that's identity politics, what you're trying to promote as well, instead of just the person that they see that is good for the job. And evidently it was, because she was amazing in this film. And the film was just such a beautiful piece of art. And to me, it was a masterpiece. So if you check it out for yourselves, if you haven't, just check it out. Sorry, guys, about the abrupt stop. But for one, I didn't want this video to go on hours and hours, and two, I just didn't feel like editing any more than a 20-minute video. So what I did was split the commentary into two parts. This is the first part of it, which I go into woke and fanboys, and the second part is I go into fanboys a little bit more deeper. It gets political and all that cool stuff. Come back and join us if you like. Also, give me your opinion on this particular commentary that I have, that I showed you the meaning of the word woke and what it entails, and what our fanboys, some fanboys, are doing that are trying to control Hollywood, especially in the fantasy, comic book geek arena genres of movies and film. Well, that's all I have for today. So until we see each other again, stay safe, be careful, and take care.